As of this week, our phase 4 stimulus news is that there are over 7 proposals for a stimulus bill. So some of them have reached Congress, and most of them refer to us receiving stimulus checks. So this is your stimulus check update for May 25th, second video for today. And we're going to talk about this topic here. We're not going to cover all the proposals, but we're going to go into brief details about about 8 proposals. If you want to look up some of the proposals, I have made videos on them, and I'll put the videos up there too also as well, so you can check them out later on after the video's over. So on this channel, we talk about ways to build credit, increase your credit score, get approved for loans, mortgages, lines of credit at the lowest payments possible, travel the world for free, make money using credit cards, and also stimulus check updates. So if this interests you, definitely hit the subscribe button, hit the bell for notification also as well. That way you'll never miss a single video as we make them here on this channel as well. So I guess let's get right into it here. We're going to talk about these proposals, and they've been coming out. We've been hit with so many proposals left and right. Some of them have made it to Congress, as I said before. Some of them have not made it to Congress. And some of them were just proposals. One was from a proposal from someone who is not even a congressman or congresswoman, I should say. So the first one we're going to mention here that has been proposed so far is the Emergency Money for the People Act. Now this act, which we made a video on it also as well here on this channel, you can look it up. I'll put the video up there for you to check out after the video is over. This act was introduced by Tim Ryan and Ro Khanna, 2 Democrats from California and Ohio in the House of Representatives. And the details of it is that this bill would provide $2,000 a month to individuals, or up to $4,000 a month for couples who file jointly for a period of 1 year. Single and married filers with incomes below $130,000 and $260,000 would qualify for this second round of stimulus checks. It's just like the CARES Act. However, in the CARES Act, dependents can add up to $500 to also as well for each dependent. And there would be a 3 dependent limit. But the difference between this Emergency Money for the People Act and the CARES Act is dependents aged 17 and over can qualify to also as well with the same $500 stimulus check for dependents. And the second proposal that I came across here was called Getting America Back to Work Act. This one came from a Republican Senator Josh Hawley of Missouri, and his idea was to provide a refundable payroll tax rebate, and this rebate will cover up to 80% of employer payroll costs up to the median wage. So it's not a stimulus check, okay? And it's not going to put money into the pockets of Americans or working Americans. But what its goal is to do is to lower the cost for employers so that way they can keep their employees and make it easier for businesses to open up and be productive once they fully open up again. Now, the third proposal is called the Rent and Mortgage Cancellation Act, which was introduced to the House of Representatives by Ilhan Omar, Democrat, also as well. This act would instruct the Department of Housing and Urban Development, and it creates a fund that pays landlords and mortgage holders to help cover their lost rental and mortgage payments. So I'm not going to go too much into detail about that bill because that is a pretty long bill and it has a lot of details to it. The fourth one we have here is coming from Senator Sherrod Brown, and it involves quarterly direct stimulus payments. Sherrod Brown is from Ohio. He's a Democrat senator, and this stimulus package, it would pay $2,000 per individual every quarter. So it's a pretty interesting bill. It doesn't pay as much as the Emergency Money for the People Act, however. But it's kind of similar to the CARES Act. It called for an initial payment of $2,000 and a second payment of $1,500, and if needed, is quarterly payments of $1,000 per person to also as well. Okay, now the fourth bill proposal is the HEROES Act, which is, very popular right now, and that is because it has been passed by the House of Representatives. I believe the vote was 208 to 198. However, this bill almost did not make it because it had about 14 people or Democrats who said no. I believe it was. I'm not sure if they were Democrats or if that was the no's in total. But anyway, this act is 1,815 pages long. And the HEROES Act, it stands for the Health and Economic Recovery Omnibus Emergency Solutions Act. And this cost is $3 trillion. It provides $1 trillion to states, $200 billion to provide hazard pay to essential workers. And part of that hazard pay is $13 an hour, which is added on to essential workers' paychecks. Okay, there's more details to it, but I'm not going to go into detail in that. I did make a video about that, however, and I believe I'll put that also up there in the end screen at the end of the video if you want to check out that video also as well. It extends unemployment benefits, which is the extra $600 a week, all the way to January 21, because the CARES Act now expires the unemployment benefits at January 31st of this year. And also, it provides $1,200 per taxpayer and up to $6,000 per household. Okay, so the difference between this and the CARES Act that I can note here for you is that instead of getting $500 per dependent through the CARES Act, you would get $1,200 per dependent with the HEROES Act. Okay, so dependents of all ages would qualify their parent or household for the extra $1,200. The limit is also 3 dependents too also as well. Okay, so now you also have the Automatic Boost to Communities Act, which this was introduced by 2 members of the House of Representatives, Rashida Tlaib, Democrat from Michigan, and Pramila Jayapal, Democrat from Washington. I also made a video about that too also here. The video is here on the channel if you want to check out the details about that bill also as well. It entails $2,000 a month that lasts a year, covers U.S. citizens, residents, and non-resident aliens in the country for at least 3 months that are all eligible for this payout. And so it would add $2,000 each during the payment period. So a couple with 2 children would receive $8,000 a month, basically. And it provides a recurring payment of $1,000 per eligible individual for 1 year after the end of the payment period. also as well. Now, the seventh one is the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act, which also is pretty popular because this one passed through by, actually did not pass through, but it was introduced, is what I meant to say, by two senators, which were Democrats, Kamala Harris and Bernie Sanders of Vermont. Kamala Harris is from California. And then Ed Markey from Massachusetts, also Democrat, which it involves paying people $2,000 per month also as well, or $4,000 for couples that file jointly. And so it's pretty interesting here, this one here, because under the Monthly Economic Crisis Support Act, single, married, and head of household filers with adjusted incomes over $100,000, $200,000, and $150,000 would see reduced payouts. So after a certain amount, over $100,000 in annual income, it would pretty much phase out. Non-resident aliens would be disqualified from receiving a payment to also as well. Now, the other proposal that I wanted to mention also as well is a proposal that was introduced. Well, it was not introduced into Congress at all because this person is not a congressman or congresswoman. It's coming from Mark Cuban. And Mark Cuban pretty much introduced a proposal. His proposal is that families should get $1,000 in stimulus checks every 2 weeks. But there's a catch to it. Pretty much it would be loaded onto a debit card. And there would be a time limit. You would have a time limit of 2 weeks to use the funds. And if you did not use the funds by that date, then the funds would expire and be no longer available. So every 2 weeks, there would be $1,000 loaded onto that check. So I think that's pretty much interesting because it kind of fits into the $2,000 number that is pretty popular, has been popular amongst the majority of the bills that have been introduced to Congress. However, this bill from Mark Cuban has not been introduced into Congress at all because Mark Cuban is not a congressman. However, AOC Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez did see his proposal. I believe it was on Twitter, and she thought it was a great idea, but that's as far as it went. And we don't have any information about that being proposed to Congress at all. Right now, the one that has been passed, like I said before, in the House of Representatives is the HEROES Act, and is currently right now sitting in the Senate. And the Senate is gone away on recess, so we won't know anything more about that until they get close to coming back. But they tend to interview the senators, the president, on a regular basis. So we should know more updates for you concerning, the progress of the HEROES Act and when their senator is going to take a vote on it, or at least start the debates. So that way we know where that bill is going. So if you haven't already, definitely go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Hit the bell for notifications also as well. That way you will never miss any of these stimulus check updates that I will be bringing to you. Also be bringing updates about the second stimulus checks to also as well, or phase 4 stimulus. So definitely, leave me a comment down below. Let me know what you think about these proposals and which one is your favorite proposal. Which one do you like the most? And also let me know in the comments which one do you think has the better chance of passing through Congress, and becoming law also as well. So thank you for watching the video. We'll see you soon with more updates coming your way. Bye for now.